allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to our February board meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. As far as the roll call, we've got everybody here except Mr. Browning, who had a little surgery, so he's not going to be with us tonight, but he's doing fine. I'd like to ask for an approval of the agenda. Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Can you close? Gentlemen and ladies, y'all provided the minutes from the January 11th board meeting and the January 21st board retreat. Y'all had a chance to look at those. I'd like to have it approved. Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
Who was the second? Mr. Davis?
Davis, it was Louis first, so.
Okay.
And do the recognition.
Yes, sir. We have 6 different items under recognition, but if I could just also recognize we have tonight with us Y-League students from Pine Grove Middle and Lowndes Middle. So welcome. We're glad y'all are in attendance. Yes, sir. We have kind of a lengthy group, lengthy list, I should say, of recognition. And first we have Ms. Krista Pearson and Ms. McCall. We have some Lowndes High graduates. We want to proudly recognize them. Excuse me, you're fine.
So I'll share a little bit with you all about these 2 young ladies. First is Amaria Simone Sullivan. And we are pleased to share with you that her plans are to join the military. She is currently enrolled at Georgia Military College, and on February the 15th, she goes and takes her testing for the military to become a proud member of the United States Army. So if you all help me give her a round of applause.
Yes, right here. Congratulations. Get a picture.
Congratulations. Mom, if you want to come up and join in and get a photograph real quick. I'll stand here and then I'll also step away and you guys can have a photograph. Okay, come on. Okay, there. Congratulations. And next we have Lauren Elizabeth Tomlinson. Ms. Tomlinson is currently attending Wiregrass Technical College, and she plans to enter into their nursing program. So we're super excited to announce you as a Lowndes High graduate this evening.
Congratulations.
Anybody here that you want to have come up and get their photo made with you? Absolutely, you bet. Okay, look, there you go. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. McCall. That's always a proud moment.
That's right, that's right.
The next group we want to recognize is our SAFE Award winners, and this month they are from Lake Park. We do this every month. SAFE is an acronym for Safety Awareness for Everyone, and this is underwritten by Valdosta Insurance, Mr. Byron Corson. We have a $50 gift card for every monthly winner. At the end of the year, we draw from among the yearly winners for one annual winner for a $100 gift card. So tonight from Lake Park, and our custodial department is Miss Lakeisha Wakefield. Let me tell them why you're here. Congratulations. If you'll stand here just a minute. Come on, you got a whole crew here. Miss Sermons, who was just escorting you in, had this to say about you and nominated you for this award. She talked about how you lead their custodial department at Lake Park with a smile on your face and very calm demeanor. Said that you are very friendly and helpful to everybody that you encounter throughout the day and always willing to accomplish whatever task you're assigned. She talked about how you support the team of custodians at Lake Park and ensure that teachers have all their needed supplies. In addition to your daily routines, she talked about how you take time out to interact with students and brighten their day, and how thankful she is that you're a part of the Lake Park Elementary staff. And if you haven't been in that building, it's one of our older buildings, but it's also one of our best kept and cleanest buildings, so congratulations. Yes, come on, Ms. Strong. We certainly fit them all in. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's perfect. Oh, three. 1, 2, 3. One more.
And also from Lake Park, we always recognize a school nutrition worker, and we have Miss Tammy Theron with us. If you'll come on. Congratulations. And if you'll just stand here with me, let me tell you what Ms. Henley and Ms. Sermon had to say about you and why you're here tonight as a winner. Ms. Henley first, talk about the extreme pride that you take in your work and all that you do to feed the students and staff at Lake Park every day. Talk about all the extra steps to ensure during these difficult days, but make sure about the safety of students and staff by sanitizing the serving line, all exposed surfaces on a day-to-day basis and between classes. Talk about how you package the meals for virtual students and make sure they got instructions about how to cool, how to heat, and make sure they're eating safe. And then we said that although there are strict guidelines in place to ensure safety for everybody, working in the school kitchen can be fun and rewarding for everybody. So you embody that on a day-to-day basis. And certainly Ms. Sermons said that you make an intentional effort to speak to each child as they come through the line and know them all by name, that you're encouraging the faculty and staff on a daily basis, no matter what else is going on, and that positivity is one of your many strengths and is contagious throughout the building. So congratulations. Ms. Sermons, Ms. Henley, y'all want to get in here? You got anybody else here with you? You want to get in the picture? Yeah, come on, we'll get them in. I see her now. They have to get to recognize the folks that don't have a mask on. Congratulations. All right. Ms. McCall, step out. There she is. We've got the Colonel here, some other students.
I do.
Good, good.
So, Lieutenant Colonel,
Noteworthy.
come up real quick. So we wanted to take this opportunity to recognize Lieutenant Colonel Dominicis and his program, our ROTC cadets. They have been part of a scholarship opportunity for Flight Academy, and I'll let Lieutenant Colonel Dominicis tell you guys all about it, but certainly it's because of his great leadership at Lowndes High that we've been able to have this program and others come to fruition.
Thank you, Ms. McCall. These 4 folks, 3 of them are primaries to attend and will attend this summer a flight training program worth over $20,000, 8-week program to learn to fly. So they also pay for them for transportation, housing, food at a major aeronautical university, where they'll take their entire flight training, and when they come back in the fall, they will tell their friends, hey, what did you do this summer? They'll be like, yeah, I did this, and then they'll learn to become a pilot. So we have Ms. McKaylee Patterson, Mr. Alexander Keller, Ms. Olivia Bolser, and then Mr. Miller is going to be an alternate. So if someone can't go, he's ready to take their place. And there's a threat of physical violence, I heard, against somebody. We got high hopes that he'll get to go. So a very competitive program. We have several thousand people, or cadets, across the United States and overseas territories apply also. And those that picked 230 to attend. Wow. So again, extremely proud of all of them.
So 230 and 4 from Lowndes High. So we're really keen
Nice.
to that.
Congratulations, each one.
Okay, there you go. On 3. 1, 2, 3. And how is it swimming?
Get my good side.
That's your good side. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes, sir, thank you. Mr. McCall, I see Mr. Newton out there, he comes. We got a couple more students to recognize. Yes, sir, absolutely. Each February, across the nation, we celebrate career, technical, and agriculture education. At Lowndes High School, we have a special recognition for our two students, Mr. and Mrs. CTAE. This year's Mr. CTAE Student of the Year is Grayson Peak, and this year's Mrs. CTAE Student of the Year is Exia Catawal. If y'all will, come on up front for just a second. While they're making their way up here real quick, Grayson Peak is a senior and has taken 7 courses in the CTA area of engineering, business, agriculture, and healthcare science. Grayson has been active in student organizations TSA, FFA, and HOSA. He says, throughout my years at LHS, the CTA classes offered the chance to expand my knowledge of limitless careers available to me. I was our very own healthcare science program that ignited my dream to become a surgeon. The immersion provided has allowed me to prepare for a challenging future to fulfill my goals. Without the CTA program, there's a chance I would have never realized my passion for the medical field, and because of LHS, I have now been able to decide what I want to be in my future. So congratulations to Mr. Grayson Peak, and there's a check for $250 to kind of help him along his way in his post-secondary endeavors. Exia Catawal is also a senior at Lowndes High School this year in the CTA courses taken in business education, engineering, and healthcare science. She is also an active member of HOSA and a work-based learning student. She explains, my favorite aspect of LHS is the community and the student and faculty body. I have moved to several school systems throughout my life and never felt such a togetherness with my fellow peers as I feel at Lowndes. The school spirit runs strong throughout the school, and as I moved here for high school, I quickly made lifelong friends with other students and even many teachers. Despite the differences in the highly diverse student body, everyone is able to come together to be a Viking in every way, from helping each other out to representing the school and serving the community. I think this is a beautiful thing. Congratulations, very well said.
I know. Everybody's running away from the camera. Okay, that's good.
Congratulations, you guys. Congratulations.
Also mentioned the bags that are on your desk. One of our students in our CTA course, graphic design, made those and designed those for our teachers, and they want to make sure you got an example of that too from their work. So thank y'all for all you do.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the last thing under recognition, you all are aware by now, this is the 150th anniversary of the Lowndes County School System. And I did flagship. Come on, Mr. Clemens, thank y'all. I scooted right on by.
Everybody helped out, and they were looking.
No, sir, don't let them. No, come on. I looked right by. That's why I got my glasses laid over here. I thought I could do it without it. I should have known better. No, thank you. You got quite a large reputation. I should have recognized that. There's something squirming back there. Can we back up, ladies and gentlemen of the board? I had mentioned this to you all a couple of weeks ago, but we certainly wanted to get a representation of Pine Grove Middle here. Last year, for the first time, the Georgia Department of Education recognized 6 schools across the state as military flagship schools, and last year, Lowndes High was one of those. This year, Pine Grove Middle School, and we have Mr. Darren Hill here, our Moody Air Force Base liaison, and he certainly sees this firsthand, working with our military families on a day-to-day basis. But just a little bit about, and with COVID, the state school superintendent is going to come down and socially distance at the school and have a formal presentation. But I just wanted to make sure we did this publicly at a board meeting. To give you just a snippet about it, the Military Flagship School Award recognizes schools going above and beyond to provide a supportive environment for military students and families. They also provide specific outreach to military families and recognize and accommodate their unique needs. And certainly about 25% of our student body at Pine Grove Middle is affiliated with the military, and we know that's certainly an integral part of our community and our school community as well. So thank you all for what you do each and every day for all of our students, but certainly for our military students as well. You get all this group in here? All right, thank you all. All right, back on track here. 150th anniversary of the Lowndes County School System, and I will tell you all that we had some grand plans in terms of inviting all of our former employees, teachers, any kind of staff, administrators to come back. We're going to have a big reception in the meeting room, and we just are not able to do that in the midst of this COVID pandemic. We do have a banner outside on the electronic bulletin boards. There will be right after the meeting tonight on all of our social media platforms. It will be announced. We will do something at graduation in the fall. We'll do that again, hopefully when we can gather in large groups and get people together. I asked Ms. Laverne Hill, who is a proud Lowndes County product of the Lowndes County School System, a graduate of Lowndes High. She told me not to say what year, and I told her I couldn't remember if it was 95 or 96, who is a recently retiree from the Lowndes County School System, has worked and put together a brief presentation just to kind of highlight the 150th anniversary of the Lowndes County School System. So, Ms. Hill, or Dr. Hill, I will get out of the way and we'll wrap it up after you get through.
All right, well, thank you so much. And I have to say, as I stand before you today, it is with a great honor, a great privilege to announce that this year, as of February 2021, is the celebration of our 150th anniversary of Lowndes County Schools. In 1871, we had our very first board meeting, and the board meeting was at the county courthouse, which at that time was just a little small courthouse that was in the public square downtown. So through the 150 years, we have seen a tremendous amount of growth, of reorganization, excellence in education, and of course unprecedented advances in digital learning environments. Each one of us in this room, in one way or another, we have contributed to the development of the 150 years of successfully educating our community and our student learners. Whether the Lowndes County School System is your home, or you've been a product of your home, or whether you have been transplanted to this area, you have helped make our school system what it is today. I'm very excited to have been part of the Lowndes County School System as a student, as an employee, and now as a retiree. And I am one of the lucky ones. I grew up here, and I've been able to witness firsthand the advancements, the improvements, and the hard work it has taken to get where we are today. And I just wanted to pause for just a minute just to see if there was anybody else in this room that was a product of Lowndes County Schools from elementary all the way to high school. Anybody? And me too. So we are part of a very unique group, and it really blesses my heart when I know that there are openings within our school system and we get to hire from within. So that's pretty special. So I would like to encourage everyone here today to continue making a difference in the lives of our students. Our mission is our students. They are the ones who have been pushing Lowndes County Schools to be the best that we can be. So let's allow the history of Lowndes County Schools to guide our thinking. Always striving for excellence, always to give our students opportunities beyond the four walls of the classroom, and always striving to create a history that we can be proud of. So at this time, I thought I would share just a little bit of history about our Lowndes County School System. So like I said, on February 6th of 1871, that was our very first Lowndes County Board of Education meeting, and it was conducted at the Little County Courthouse. The first Lowndes County Board of Education members were the members that you see listed here. I'm sure none of you actually knew these people, but they could be part of your heritage, and you may certainly recognize some of the last names, and you may be relatives to them. So, back in 1871, the school system was divided up into districts, and there were 6 districts, and I'll tell you about those in just a minute. But today, we are divided by zones, and we have the elementary zones, we have the middle school zones, and we have the high school zone. The schools back then, and as I have to tell you, as I was beginning this presentation, I thought, oh, well, there weren't very many schools back then, and today we've got a lot. Well, it was the complete opposite. Because back in 1871, you have to remember that everything was made up of very, very, very small communities. And the communities were established a lot of times based on where the railroad was, because that was where the industry began, was around the railroads. So naturally, back then, we didn't have cars or motorcycles or anything like that, so the students had to walk to school. And they either walked, or if they were fortunate, they had parents who could take them back and forth, with horse and buggy. So actually the number is probably closer to 100 schools back then, because like I said, every little community had their own little school. And every community, their school consisted of a group of students. It could have ranged from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. They were all in the same classroom in a one little room schoolhouse, and I have visions of Little House on the Prairie. I mean, that's what I'm thinking here. So, but we also, at that time, the schools were segregated, so that added to the number. Today, we have 11 schools. Of course, we're not segregated, and those 11 schools are just Lowndes County school system schools. It's not the private or charter schools included in that. The student enrollment at that time was somewhat undetermined, because the enrollment in the classrooms were very fluid, because these were part of farming communities. And so as the students had to go out and help on the farms during harvest time, then the classroom was always kind of fluid. You have students coming in and going out, coming in and going out, depending on what the crops were at the time and in the area and the time of season it was. So today, we have well over 10,000 students, which seems like, wow, an awful lot. Our employees, we have over 1,400, and that consists of certified, non-certified, administrators, just the whole gamut of employees. Again, back in the 1800s, it was kind of hard to determine the number of employees, because they too sometimes were very fluid, because they would move into a community long enough to work, and they were chosen as a teacher or somebody that had those teaching skills. Of course, they didn't have certifications back then. So it just depended on who was willing in the community to give that education. The superintendent back then, the very first superintendent, was A.I. Besant, and of course today is Mr. Wes Taylor. The 6 districts that we had in 1871, as you can see, are made up of the schools that we actually have today. So there was a Hayhira district, a Pine Grove district, a Moulton Branch, Lake Park, Platteville, and Parker Mathis. Well, what I found very interesting was, I would have been from the Pine Grove district, and that's where actually I went to school at the old Pine Grove. I went to Hayhira Junior High, and then of course Lowndes High School. But with Pine Grove, just and I'm from the little unincorporated town of Barretts. So it was very intriguing to me to see the names of these little districts or these little schools, because these were actual schools within those districts, and you can see how many there were because they were so small. So it was very intriguing to me to see how many schools were in each area. And as you ride around town, or if you ride in one end of the county to the other, and you see, for example, Cat Creek. Well, we think of that as Cat Creek Road. Well, that was a little community in and of itself that had its own little school. So, and Jumping Gully Road, down on the south end. So it was just really, and you could probably see your own hometown and where, the roads, how it all kind of just ties in together. So that was pretty unique to me. Then on the next slide, we have just a few statistics based on some information that I found. Teacher salary back then was a whole $30 a month. And given that was like a 5-month school term, because again, students didn't go for, a full length. And this 5 months was not necessarily 5 consecutive months. It could have just been 5 total months, that amount of time throughout the year, because of the fluid enrollment in their schools. And the base salary as of right now for our teachers is about $2,800 a month. Now that is base salary according to the Georgia teacher salary schedule, and that does not include state or local supplements. That's just the flat basic. The number of days that students used to attend in 1871 was about 100 days, and we now have 180. Back then, they had 6 board members, and now we have 7. All right, and superintendents, over 150 years, we have had 18 school superintendents. I think that's pretty amazing. I think that is very amazing. And I think it says a lot for our school system and for our boards of education. And I just, it's just really neat to see the progression of how things have progressed through 150 years. And, like I said, I'm one of the lucky ones that have been able to see the progression of how our school system has grown and matured and advanced in 150 years. So as in closing, I just wanted to point out that a lot of the information that I got is from this book. It's called Our Noble Quest, and it's by Ron Irwin. And he put this together a few years ago with the help of what he called heritage teachers, which were some teachers from Lowndes that helped dig up all of the history, some of which I've shared with you tonight. So if you don't have a copy of this book, I think it would be very beneficial, especially those of you that may have grown up here or your parents grew up here and are still around. There are old pictures in here of like Hayhara High School and Pine Grove High School, and it's just really neat to sit and just go through there and see. So that concludes my presentation for the 150th anniversary of Lowndes County Schools, and I will turn it over now to Mr. Taylor.
Thank you again, Dr. Hill. And she referenced, and we have several of those books. If anybody, I know all the board members have one, but if anybody else is interested, if you would see Ms. Rome, we have a number of those copies available. And if you've ever seen a presentation of one of Mr. Irwin's, he often uses a lot of those old black and white photos. You can just tell the condition. They're tattered and torn and just very old. To conclude this aspect of recognition, we do have a proclamation that at the conclusion of the meeting, I'll ask Mr. Smith as our chairman and Mr. Weeks as our vice chair to sign, just designating today as Lowndes County Schools Day. Whereas February 1st, 2021 marks the celebration of 150 years since the founding of the Lowndes County School District in 1871, and whereas the Lowndes County Board of Education met for the first time on February 6, 1871 in the Lowndes County Courthouse, whereas today the Lowndes County School District is home to more than 10,600 students and 1,400 employees, whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize the organization of the Lowndes County School District document and anniversary of its creation, and whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize the celebrations which will commemorate this occasion, and whereas there have been significant changes in the last 150 years, educators still have one of the most important jobs in society. A failure to educate our children leads to a lost generation. Whereas the Lowndes County School District continues to meet the challenges of the 21st century on its noble quest for excellence, We do hereby proclaim today, February 1st, 2021, to be Lowndes County School District Day. And thank you again, and certainly for being here 18 years. There's not a greater place in terms of the school system, the quality of education our children receive, and all the employees that we work with. I mean, it is just, we are very fortunate to be a part of the school system in this community. But thanks again for your hard work. Sorry about that. Yes, and we also, thank you. We also, Dr. Hill had a plaque made that we're going to affix to the outside of the building, again commemorating the 150th anniversary of the school system.
Before we move on to discussion tonight, I would like to just congratulate everyone again, all the students that were recognized tonight, as well as the schools, and thank you, Dr. Hill, for that presentation. Very, very nice, very nice. We will move on to discussion now.
Yes, sir. Mr. Owen is making his way to the podium with a glowing finance report.
Good evening. Hope you're warm. Oh, I know why Roger isn't here tonight. That bell was cold outside. And it's good to see everybody. If you want to go ahead and take a look at your monthly summary report, that's your first 8.5 by 14 sheet. You can take a look at the January expenditures, roughly $7.24 million. And then, of course, our revenues up through that point is almost $6.5 million. If you extrapolate it out, we have 5 months left of this fiscal year. So anyhow, we're looking good. We're looking very good. So we're blessed. And I've got something to show you in the SPLOST report here in a minute, too. I keep scratching my head as well. So, but to put some meat on these bones, we're going to take a look at your revenue sheet and your expense sheet, the next 2 pages. You take a look there, as you can see, year to date, of course, column H is actual up through January 31st, or 29th was the last business day. You can see the local revenues of where we are there. Total local revenue of $27.7 million. And we still have the other $5 million to reach our goal of $29.1, $29.2 million. As you can go down the lines, our state revenues are what we get in those categories as well. So revenues are looking good. Next is our expense. You'll take a look there. Of course, H is our year-to-date, January 29th. And you can see budgeted up through that point, 7 months of this fiscal year. And the variance of how far we all are off from there. You could take H and L and look at them and compare them from year to year, and you can see the variance as well. As you go down, nothing jumps out of budget, out of whack. At this point, right now, we're about 5% below budget. So, like I said, expenditures are really falling into place, and the revenues have been well. So, can't complain. Next, athletics. That report, as you go down, you take a look at column H again. I like to look at that. Of course, is year to date. At this point, total revenue is about $274,000. Compare that to last year, you can see where we are. So the pandemic did take a hit on our athletics. But as you go through the categories of the sports and the schools, at the very end, you can see where we are. The very last line on column H, next to the last, our expenditures about $307,000 so far, which is about $34,000 less than what we had projected. And so anyhow. Any questions about any of those before we get to SPLOST? Last but not least, our SPLOST report. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at $1.37 million in collections. Remember, we're reporting a month behind, so that was the big month of December, but still, compared to the last year, we're up 14.5%. We're just really blessed, So you can kind of see there. And of course, last year, you can see we were about a little over 100,000 over where we were the prior year, over 19 calendar year. But remember, in that September, we received that $1 million that was in arrears money owed to us, so that's what really bumped it up higher. So,
other than that, that's the largest month in
truly,
8 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's a highlight. So, anyhow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we have from JCI tonight, Mr. Jared Hall, who also, if y'all didn't notice a while ago, raised his hand as a product of a K-12 product of the Lowndes County school system. Mr. Brett Diamond is also here, and his children are also in our school system as well.
Absolutely.
Glad you're here.
Glad to be here. Thank you, guys. We did a little drone fly over last week to play for you guys, kind of give you an idea where we're at. It's been a little while since we've been here, so, should see quite a bit of progress since the last time, we presented to you guys. We've got, I'm sure you can see if you're driven by the interstate or driven by the school, it's really taking shape out there. You really see the scale of this as this thing comes together. If that video will play there, you put down it right there. Let's see. There we go. So we're going to start here on kind of on the back of the building. This is, you can see we've got everything's walled up. We've got the sheathing on and air barrier. We've got all the windows on that back elevation. They started the metal wall panels, which is the exterior facade. On this side elevation here, you can see we've got all the sheathing up. They're getting ready to start the air barrier. We'll start metal panels on that in the next couple of weeks. You can kind of see from that shot how we're nestled into your campus there. It's a tight fit. It's been a fun project, but it definitely presents a challenge for work. We're getting there. As you come around the front, this is the final footprint of the building. We're finally there. This is the shape of the building. It's not going to grow anymore from here. You can see that rolled roof coming over there, coming around. That's the front of the Performing Arts Center. And then you kind of see there the two towers coming up top that frames out the main entrance as you're going in. We're currently inside doing sheetrock on the first, second, and third floors of the back half of the building. This is where we're dried in good enough to be able to do some finish work. And we're currently in the front half doing interior wall framing, and we've actually started a little bit of painting on some of the interior walls that we're getting ready. So we're starting to move into finish stages on some of the building as we start to close it up and get prevent water from coming in. So that's really where we're at. And any questions from you guys?
We were over there, Mr. Hill, Mr. Rudman and I, Thursday, 2 weeks ago, and Ms. McCall, and it just changes every time you go. I know it's been a while since several of y'all have been, but anytime y'all want to go, if you'll let us know, we'll coordinate it. And they've always been good to get us in, walk us around. It is impressive, and just it's taking more and more shape every time we're there.
Absolutely. It's definitely changed a lot since the last time you guys came through, but anytime you guys want to come through, just let us know. I'm there every day. So.
Anybody have any questions?
Looking forward to getting that contingency money back.
So fast.
5%, 10%. Great.
I'll make sure Jack hears about it.
I'll-
All right,
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
All right, we also have tonight in the way of construction, you all are aware that the Lowndes Side weight room and field house construction, as well as visitor side of the stadium. And we have Mr. Travis Medellin here. I think he's going to have some PowerPoint or some slides.
Yes, sir, it's on the PowerPoint. Apologize, Keith wasn't feeling well this morning, so he asked me to fill in for him tonight, so appreciate the opportunity to present. Wait for the
Turn off the projector, Jeff?
Did you turn it on?
It's on. There it is.
Yeah, we can go ahead and skip to the next slide there. But it kind of give you an idea of what we've been asked to do. We've had several meetings with the faculty and staff to kind of develop this plan and these ideas and all. And you see where the existing field house is, existing weight room. I think we're all pretty familiar with that. We're looking at connecting those buildings with a physical connection across the front that would add to the overall plan there and have a head coach office, meeting rooms, some toilet facilities, additional weight room space. Get to the next slide on there. And this shows you the existing floor plan of the field house building. You can see we've got a couple, toilet areas. The main locker room is there at the bottom of the page, and then the rooms above that are kind of segregated right there. And we're looking at trying to bring all that together, create some more meeting space, and create a larger locker room to fit as many players as we can in there. This is the renovated plan, taking all the toilet banks and completely redoing them, putting new fixtures in there, putting individual showers in there rather than the old school 4 or 5 people in one shower room type setup. So generating 4 meeting rooms across the bottom of the page there, the large locker room in the middle, and then directly accessing the equipment room. Just creates a good flow through the building for the kids, the players, getting their equipment out and getting onto the field. And then to the bottom right is the existing field house, bottom left is the existing weight room. You can see how the new addition ties those two together across the front. Basically adding about 50% larger weight room, and adding the 2 rooms in the center right there, offense and defense coaches rooms, and in the top right you have the offense and defense player meeting rooms. So that's kind of a more enlarged area of the addition. Everything that's existing is to the bottom of the page. Creating a nice lobby that you can come into with a receptionist there, a big trophy case to put all those trophies in. Also have a couple drop-down screens in there. The one in the lobby would be more so for scholarship signings and all. It'd be have the Lounscounty Schools logo on it and create a good backdrop for photographs and things. Got the head coach's office directly off the lobby there, and to the right you see the defense coach's office, offense coaches, and then the offense and defense meeting rooms. The majority of the meeting rooms are very versatile. You can separate them, or that wall, that dash line that's in the center is an operable partition. So you can open that up and have one large room, depending on how you need to use the space. And those 4 meeting rooms at the bottom in the existing plan are the same way. Then we've created some renderings of it to kind of bring some of the look of the new Lowndes High School down to the athletic portion of the project. You can see, it kind of gets the same brick, same split face color, the Lowndes colors. Got a little bit of the arch roof right there with a good backdrop behind it. On the next slide. You can see the slope roof of the existing weight room to the right-hand side there. You can see how the new addition kind of brings out that same look and all, and carries it around all 3 sides of this building. And then on the eastern side, this side towards the track and the baseball field and all, kind of, tying that back in and dressing up the eastern side of the existing building and making it all look like one building at one time there. So that's kind of a quick, synopsis of the floor plan, what the elevations could look like. So any questions or anything?
Just to remind y'all, we did that switch again. Just to remind y'all, as Travis said at the beginning, Coach DeBose has been a part of the meetings, his input. It's got more than 150 kids in the program right now. most we've had in a long time, and just kind of outgrowing the space. That's what's the impetus behind this. But just wanted y'all to kind of have an update of where we were in the process. This is still, pretty preliminary, but, it's been back and forth as far as 2 or 3 drafts. That's kind of where we are, just wanted to keep y'all in the loop as far as this project begins to evolve. Anybody else have any questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
And the last item under discussion is the surplusing of the Pine Grove House. As we discussed at the retreat and with Mr. Turner's guidance, that's the first step that we need to go about in that process. If y'all will approve that tonight, and we'll be on track to go about the plans as we discussed at the retreat and move forward with that project. So that's what item number 4 is there.
Anything else on the discussion?
No, sir, unless somebody has a question.
Questions? All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We'll need to get an approval on that, which is the approving the finance report, and the surplus of the Pine Grove House. Got a motion? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. We do have a personnel list provided on e-board.
Give you the paper copy.
I got one.
Approve the personnel list as together. We have a motion to approve. Got a second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Any other?
Yes, sir. Just wanted to mention 2 things to y'all. This week is National School Counselors Week, and maybe this year more so than any, at least in my 30-plus year career, we recognize and realize the need for the mental health aspect and the role that counselors play on a day-to-day basis. So just want y'all to be aware. We thank those ladies and gentlemen that serve our students and staff across the school system. And one other reminder, and that is that Thursday night at 6 o'clock in the Lowndes High Cafeteria will be the football banquet, if any of you are available or want to be there.
Any other business?
No, sir.
Once again, we appreciate everyone coming, the Y League students, appreciate y'all being with us tonight. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Motion in a second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.